topic of conversation that I wanted to bring up. I was watching Zulatech yesterday. Zulatech is
33.
another newer streamer. Newer as in he started after the Steam launch, and he's gotten quite into it. He seems quite on his way to becoming a veteran player. Like a lot of these streamers that I've seen, like Taiki, you're also in that boat. I'd put you there, where you seem like you're so into this game that I can imagine you're gonna stick around for a while.
Oh, I've got a croc,
Hey
I
everyone,
think, on
it's
me.
me, Raid Wiper. Welcome, Raid Wiper.
Hey, Raid Wiper.
Oh, you're on Zulatech's deed. Okay, it's awesome. Nice. So
Nice.
Zulatech, he was discussing an issue yesterday on his stream that was I didn't move from the Wildcat. And Uncle Pyron, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, you not only drunk the Kool-Aid, you're bathing in it. Yep. That's pretty much. So he's talking about an issue that is a long-standing issue in Wurm Online. And he was talking about it like secondhand. Like he knows somebody who ran into this problem where the person he's thinking of has a deed, and some other guy came along and planted a house right next to his deed, right on the edge of the perimeter or whatever, to prevent this person from expanding their deed in that direction. I thought this was like a really interesting conversation because it's not only it's like such a long-standing issue in Wurm. It's like it plays into the whole like free player versus like paying player type debate, where we got to wonder like to what level should we cater this game to the free player, and should it be to the expense of the experience of the paying player, and to what level, like where should we land on that? So I thought I'd bring that up as a topic of conversation to sort of give our thoughts on that issue. Like, have we run into that problem where we're trying to expand in one direction and somebody just plants a one-by-one house?
I think it's more of a fear of people and less of stuff that actually happens. Because it's true, it can happen, and you're right. There are situations where people get into arguments over stuff like that.
So people are saying it's happening a lot on Cadence. I can imagine it's happening
I
a lot
think
on the news.
I think the reason why it hasn't happened to us is because we don't stick around close to starter towns. I think it happens more closer you are to starter town. So if you traveled for like days away from a starter town into the wilderness, you'll have more open space. And then
now I think you're saying that from the perspective of the old servers, like our experience on the old servers, and like our experience on the new servers, we are already so densely packed that it won't happen to us because we planted our deed right next to a whole bunch of other people as it is.
Oh, black bear.
But I think what people are experiencing is because Cadence is so populated right now. It's the most populated server.
Nice.
And like the TV, what was his name? The other new guy who's streaming.
Active TV.
Active TV. Yeah. He logged into the game on Cadence and was looking for just an open spot next to water and literally had to walk 4 hours. And I was watching the whole time, so I can attest to the fact that there was no good spot within 4 hours of the newbie zone of the starter town in the direction that he was walking in anyway. So yeah. Like, I mean, I can see it being an issue.
Now, it's only an issue. So this is why I say like it's an issue, but it's only an issue to you if you were sitting there like I built my deed, now I want to expand for some odd reason.
Now I want to expand.
Weeks later or maybe months later. We've never run into that situation, probably because
we've expanded.
We never wanted to expand.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there like, okay, I want
to early on.
Yeah, you take the land that you want to, then you have lots of time. And for new players, like you're saying, Uncle Pyron, that this must be a good area. You see a new player, and new players don't know really what is a deed and what isn't a deed, and they just sort of build a house there. There are things, if you're a person where a new player came around and started building near you, or like right against your perimeter or something like that, you should use that as an opportunity to make another friend, because they don't know any difference, and they are just trying to learn the game, and you can attack it in a way where you could try to get them to join your village, get a friendly neighbor, or get because this happened a lot on Deliverance when we were on there, because it was so tightly packed around the lake that everybody in our area knew each other, and we all became friends at the time, back in, let's say, 2012.
But we shouldn't deny, though, that this might happen to people where it's not just a matter of a new player not knowing what they're doing, but rather
I would say
it's actually somebody actively
wanting
trying
to
to
take
block
your...
you. Like they plan, they're gonna put a deed down over here, but they don't want to do it right yet, so they just put a shack there. I'm not saying it happens all the time. It probably happens a lot more rarely than a new player not knowing what they're doing. But
yeah, we would be spending a lot of time, and I think that's what happens, is that a lot of us spend a lot of time talking about things that happen very rarely. So you're like,
yeah.
You make like this issue and you think it's like 50% of the time, but it ends up being like 5% of the time that it actually would happen, where somebody's actively trying to grief you. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it happens rarely.
So I have a feeling like the actively trying to grief you situation actually is against the rules. So the GMs will intervene in the actively trying to grief you situation. But if it's a new player not knowing what they're doing situation, that's
I'm telling you,
story.
Yeah, serotonin, it's common to the people that are getting griefed. It's not common in a holistic approach where you're looking at the amount of players that play versus the amount of players that have been actively griefed.
Encountered, right.
So yeah, if you're one of the ones that have griefed, you're going to take what I say and you're not going to agree with it, because you're 100% have been griefed.
But the reality is like, we have been active players. Like, I've logged in every day and I haven't seen anybody. I talked to lots of people and I haven't heard of anybody encountering this. And the first time I heard of it was on Zulatek's on Zulatek's stream, and he was saying he only knows the guy because that guy came into his stream talking about it. So like, yeah, okay, maybe that one guy, like, and maybe there's like a bunch of other people who are getting actively griefed. But
if you're looking at, a few thousand players, let's say, and then you've got 50 players.
Aaron commented on griefing. I felt it was okay to make alts to harass this guy. Really? I honestly feel like the GM should step in if it's people trying to harass somebody. Like, there is rules against this. So I don't know the whole story. I'm just getting water because my water bar is low and I have no water. And then I saw a pheasant, so I'm gonna kill it before it runs away.
And Sergeant Scully, you're a new player. You started on Deliverance. That's pretty cool. You haven't run into anything but kind players so far. Yeah, there's a lot of kind players on.
It's going to be the bad
Delhi for
seed
sure.
here and there. It's definitely. I'm not denying that it never happens. I'm sure it happens, but in the situation where somebody's actively getting griefed, I'm sure the devs, or not the devs, but the GMs should, under the rule set, intervene.
Forget about the rule set. There's a number of dev created tools that have come into place way before or way after we started playing that are supposed to make it less. You're not really supposed to. It shouldn't be as big a deal if somebody like built like a 1x1 hut next to your perimeter. Although now saying
Right.
that, I don't remember if they actually did this. So that before it
Yeah.
used to be that you could build in your perimeter. So you could build on somebody else's perimeter. You could build a house.
No, you can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore. So
You could build
they
a
got
fence, actually.
rid
You can
of
build a fence.
but
You
then
can
they
build a
made it
fence to somebody's
so
perimeter.
your perimeter actually will decay structures faster
Yes.
than
Yes.
off of somebody's
They
perimeter.
did do that. They did do that.
So
And that person
they
can't repair their house or repair any structures inside the perimeter, and that it'll decay faster. But when I said that on Zulutech's stream, what Zulutech's response was, if the person the person that was complaining said that the other person who's griefing them not only built the house but improved all the walls to like 50 plus, and that made it so that the time to decay was about 3 months.
Yeah, and then what do they get out of it? So in this very specific situation, somebody had to have built a house, spent the time to imp it to that quality. This would be a lot easier on the older servers, I must say. And then for the chance of being able to like block you from wanting to expand in that direction for a very, for whatever reason, if you're actually wanting to expand in that direction for 3 months.
Okay, but 2 points a day, and hey, I saw Ulfron Beard come in. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So 2 points a day is going to happen at the beginning, but the more damage the item gets, the more it'll get damaged each tick, right? So it might be 2 points, then another 2 points, another 2 points, but once it gets to 20, it's going to go to 4 points, and it keeps going up. And the last little bit is really quick. And I do agree, like
My
maybe
horse is
like
slow today.
maybe it's too slow. Maybe they should increase that pace, but it's already at an accelerated pace. And Serotonin, I know like you're not the only person who plays a lot, and you're not the only person who knows a lot of people. And yes, it does happen. But again, when it comes to actively griefing, like somebody who's literally doing it to anger you or harass you, that person needs to go to the devs at that point, or the GMs. The GMs will intervene when there is somebody actively griefing somebody else. For sure. You get it every day. Well, I mean, I played this game for 8 years and played all the time, and I didn't get it at all, ever. So it might be that you're
perspective,
around,
right?
It might be perspective. It might be, I don't know.
And I tell you this, if you're around players
Sorry, yeah.
that don't want you, that are actively griefing you, and it's ruining your experience
For months, eh? Months you've had over.
for months.
Is this on the
And
old
I think
servers,
I
then?
said before, it's all about what kind of experience do you want. You can choose to stick around and be part of that, or you can choose to try to find some other experience. And what you learn the longer that you play this game is that nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent but your skills. Your skills are the most important thing in this game. Your house is not important. Items are not important. So you choose your battles, and if that's the battle that you like to be part of, then that's the battle you're going to be part of. And there you go, Serotonin.
Right.
You've chosen the battle,
Yeah.
and I'm getting hit by.
I'm hitting. Yeah, my horse.
But in the end, what you're gonna do is you're gonna look back on this moment and realize that all of that was just, for land that ends up not being anybody's in anyway.
Right.
But it might be a good story to tell. Maybe post your story on the wiki.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind hearing that
Or post it on the forums, you mean, right?
on the forums.
Right. I mean, I feel bad to hear that you are being griefed, and that's something that's
Yeah.
not
There's
fun.
always been grief
It's always been.
through game mechanics. So if it was grief through game mechanics, which has happened in the past to us,
Yep.
and this was more item stealing. So what's happened to us is that
Yeah, we've lost rare
people have
items.
stolen our items. People have come and taken items based on game mechanics that we like weren't in place. These days, it's very very hard to have your items taken compared to the old days.
Hmm.
Just a couple examples of that is that when you used to build large carts, it never came with a lock. So everything you put in your cart, anybody could take. People could take your
Right.
horses. People could unhitch your horses if you're not on your deed. Um,
Right. That was the
Even when you're
worst.
on your deed, people could like attack your horses and stuff.
So we had a wagon that we didn't know that that was going to happen. It was off deed, and it had 4 horses. They all had rare gear and high level rare enchanted gear. And somebody unhitched all the horses and took all our stuff, killed the horses, took all the stuff.
And the devs came back and they addressed those situations, which is why we have what we have now, which is
Permission system.
an entirely new permission system. Every single cart or vehicle in this game will automatically get a lock attached to it upon its creation. We learn that the
And
housing. We
donut
learned
kebab.
quickly. Yeah, go.
Yeah, donut kebab. I think I agree with you on this one. If you're finding that harassment is just following you everywhere you go, you might want to do a little bit of introspection here about how you are interacting with the people around you, because others are only going to harass you if they're annoyed by you, right? So, like, people aren't just going to randomly go out. Who can I randomly harass today? It's like, if you're annoying somebody, then they might harass you, and that's something that you're just going to have to think about.
Anyway, yeah, it's
Anyway.
there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be harassment. But the truth of the matter is, it's just going to be a small percentage in Wurm.
Small. Very small.
But it's just never small for the people that it's happening to. Other than that, yeah, let's. I guess I'll end it there.
If you are reasonable and address it reasonably to the to the GMs, then the GMs will be reasonable back. But if this harassment is a two-way street, then the devs are going to have, or the GMs are going to have to make a choice one way or the other.
Why is this guy not attacking me? Come on, alligator.
Yeah.
Alligator.
Sorry I brought
Croc.
this up. I know this is a contentious issue for some, but I thought it was a good conversation.
We
that
got
were
two,
having.
so let's go. Let's
Oh,
run.
we got 2. Okay, let's run. Okay. How's your health? Yeah.
It's
See if we
okay.
can get one to keep going. Oh no, they're right.
So anyway, so the whole conversation. All right, serotonin. We got.
I mean, here's the thing: is that right now you're doing it, so you can't say you're doing nothing because right now you're doing it. You're doing that thing that's making people upset.
Let's talk about. I mean, okay. So should people build next to perimeter?
Right.
And the
here's what
answer to
I
that
think.
is that, for me, is
Okay,
that
go ahead.
I don't know. It is what it is right now, and the real question isn't should people do that. The question should be should the devs be doing something about that, and I don't think so. I don't think that the devs should be doing more to block it, because even when they made it so you couldn't build houses in people's perimeters, people got mad. So, oh god, there's 2 of them
We still got
okay.
2.
My horse doesn't seem to be moving anymore, which is kind of sad. Like, people wanted to build in their perimeters, but to counter the griefing that everybody says was happening, they decided to stop people from being able to do that. and they put in a dev code to stop people from doing that. So that's really the question to me. Should the devs should
they do more?
Do more? And besides
What I
some tweaking, probably not.
Right. That's what I think that they should do is just look at it again. You know, look at the instances that have been logged and look at the the big picture of it, and then ask the question, does it need tweaking? You know, like maybe does the rate of decay need to be tweaked up a little bit more, or because or maybe like the rules around the harassment sort of situation, does that need to be adjusted? Or that's all I think that they need to do. They just need to look at the situation, maybe just judge, does it need fixing?